Notre Dame is number one.
Notre Dame with a miracle win as the
He's going in. Notre Dame has scored.
I think we should do this every day. Get together, just 20, 25 minutes, find out how you're doing, what you had for breakfast. I had an early breakfast. We had practice at 6 a.m. this morning. I got my first email about the music being loud at about 7:45. So got my morning going off to a good start. But just today, last minute preparations, our Thursday practice, if you will, on a Wednesday. I wanted to get all of our work done before we went to Ireland. So going over down and distance situations, end of game, all those kinds of things in preparation for game. Got those things accomplished today. We'll get our football team. They, as I mentioned to you before, very important for them, getting them up early today. We had everybody in the locker room by 5:20. So they are at class. They'll come back. We'll meet, weight train, and keep them occupied till we get on the bus at 5 o'clock. Or excuse me, we'll have dinner, then we'll get on the bus and get them on the plane and get in some sleep. So provided all our guys didn't sleep through their classes today, we should be on a pretty good schedule. So,
in retrospect, do you feel like this was the right move to wait till today to make that shift, and how awake were they during the workouts?
Yeah, I thought it was good, and just to, to get young guys up in college life, all in the locker room by 5:20, you're always apprehensive. I think I was looking at the clock every 5 minutes, but when Chad Klender came up and said all accounted for at 5:20, I had a sigh of relief, because I made it pretty clear that if anybody was late, they would be staying in South Bend. So it was good to have everybody on deck and ready to go. But answering your question, I think we'll see how it goes, but I'm confident that we made the right decision in terms of the practice.
Have you been to Ireland before?
I have.
And what were the circumstances? Obviously not to coach a game.
Poor golf. Got a chance to play some golf on the west coast of Ireland, and really enjoyed. Learned a lot about Ireland. One, that Guinness usually travels in pairs, never a single Guinness. And Paddy's is the preferred Irish whiskey over some of the other well-known. And that my golf game really stinks. So I learned a lot about Ireland the first time through.
From a personnel standpoint, I know Dan Fox was slow the one time that we were in, and John Goodman, they're fine. Where are they?
Yeah, Fox, had, probably, actually it's interesting, because when I had Rob Hunt puts together a list for us, Iron Men, if you will, in terms of who does not miss a practice during preseason camp, Fox was on there. Even though we didn't contact him a couple of times, he answered every practice, so he's fine. Goody had a little bit of a groin. That seems to have resolved itself with the rest that he's had, and he looked good, so those guys should be fine.
Brian, you got a couple of young guys backing up at two positions, Hanratty and Grace. Can you just talk a little bit about what you saw in them to give that kind of confidence, that kind of role?
Well, Jared is just very, not only is he big, physical, strong kid, he's got great instincts at the position. So as a linebacker, he's not just a kid that has great size, at 6'2", 6'3". I mean, he's a really big kid, but he's got really good instincts, very smart football player. Connor Hanratty is just a tough, gritty, throwback offensive guard. He gets in there and he's going to bang. And so just at their development, we're really, at this stage of their development, we're really pleased that they can be solid 2D performers for us.
Brian, on your captains, talking to the players, it sounds like you elected them or the coaching staff elected them. Could you just talk about that opposed to having the players vote? And also, offensively with Tyler and Zach, two pretty introverted guys. So I guess why is being vocal maybe not a prerequisite to being a good captain?
Because part of our emphasis in terms of where we wanted this team this year was, the pure accountability. In other words, they're not afraid to tell others how it needs to get done, maybe not in a vocal fashion. Also, they're great guys to mirror. In other words, I mentioned to you earlier that when your best players are your best workers, and both of those guys were our best workers in the summer. and they did all the things, and they're great players as well. So I don't know that, for me, year to year, it's different personalities and different people. Some years I've had all vocal guys, some guys maybe led more by, in this instance, example. I did, along with our staff, decide on who the captains. The players did not vote on them. Felt like I knew our football team well enough and what their desires would be relative to the captains.
Coach, did you happen to see the quote Joe Montana gave about you and Everett yesterday?
I did not.
I'm not going to pull this out of context, so I'll read it in full so you can react. He said, quote, Kelly can't figure out, he was asked about Everett being named the starter. Kelly can't figure out what he wants. Every one of his QBs that he has, he claims is the next star, but he doesn't last long with them. He's probably, referring to Golson, the least talented thrower they have, so maybe they're looking to run the ball with him.
Well, Joe Montana is an icon. He's entitled to his opinion about, our football team. So I think that's probably all I'd say about that.
Danny Spahn, is he available?
No, he's not. Really close. Had a couple of really good days working out for us. Rob Hunt has really upped his load. We'll see where we are next week, but we're getting closer to getting him back on board. No contact for him. He's been conditioning, though I believe yesterday, I could be wrong, but I believe he was in half rack yesterday, which would mean helmets and shoulder pads.
How about Tate Nicholas?
Monday, helmets and shoulder pads.
Coach,
So he's getting really close.
Just your excitement on this season and going into it. I know there's highs and lows to every year.
Right.
Just thinking about, here it is. You don't know how it's going to unfold, but it's
Right.
ready to go.
Yeah, I think every year you're excited. You put in so much time and effort. I just feel more comfortable, with our team and with my role and our staff's role. Confidence that we can go in and do the things necessary to be successful.
Ryan, on that kind of train of thought, you have maybe more inexperience on this team than you have in the past, whether it be quarterback or receiver or corner. But when you say, you feel maybe more comfortable, is that kind of where you feel like maybe being here for 3 years and kind of coaching all these guys up and recruiting the guys that you want is really going to show itself that maybe that's going to be as important or more important than just having experience?
I think all of those things you would add to it. And I think I would also add a team that you're confident that can stop the run and that you can run the football too. That's a pretty comfortable feeling as a coach, that you know that you can run the football or feel like you can run the ball and stop the runs. But I would add the things that you mentioned as well as being part of the reason that we feel like, we can go out there and compete with anybody.
Brian, along the lines of experience, does just the confidence that Theo has, does that make up for some of the inexperience that he has playing running back?
I think so. I also think the ability to blend both his natural instincts as a running back with his acquired wide receiver play over the last couple of years. So I know now that when he takes the field, he's capable of doing a lot of things. And I think that's a confidence that he has going into the game, that he's going to touch the ball in a number of different ways, and you can see that carry itself out in practice.